Probably one of the most challenging things on my journey of healing has been what I call turning rescuer mode off. The interesting thing here is that throughout my life, as a result of trauma, I learned a belief that it was my responsibility to rescue people, right? And it wasn't just a matter of rescuing people, right? It was also a matter of seeing people as like a project, right? Um, People had like help me signs on their back. They didn't actually have help me signs on their back, but the energy dynamic that I experienced, that I felt and everything, suggested that I needed to do something to rescue them, right? To fix them, to save them. And the reason why this is so challenging is because I got so used to playing that role in life, right? And healing means to step away from that, for me specifically, to step away from that and to take all of that energy and bring it back to myself and put it on myself and work on myself and do the work on myself and actually create for myself what it is that I want to create. Um, it's actually here's the interesting, what I would like to call a paradox, right? Um, it's actually very interesting to like step away from that kind of stuff, right? Because there is actually a level of comfort that comes with overwhelm and stress. There's a level of comfort that comes with overwhelm and stress, and when you step away from a role that you were previously conditioned into, right? You step away from it, and in my experiences at least, I'm kind of like, well, what do I do now? Right? And then the amount of times that I have kind of like defaulted back to that, um, instead of like altogether walked away from it and just like have been like done with it, it's not easy to change sometimes, right? Um, and I kind of said that slowly, and I almost stopped myself because that's also in and of itself a belief, and I don't know if I fully believe that. Um, I think that things come down to awareness, and I think that actually more oftentimes, um, it's not actually as challenging or as difficult as we think it is. It's just the meaning that we give to things, right? And I think that that's really important to take into consideration. But let's take a step back and look again at the rescuer mode, right? Because that's something that I was conditioned into, as a result of trauma. But again, I'm not going to get into the trauma because boundaries are important to me. Um, but I am going to talk about how challenging, um, it actually is, uh, how difficult it actually is to step away from being the rescuer because it's comfortable, because it's familiar. It's what it is that you've been conditioned by and what it is that you have known, right? Um, People feel like a project, something to work on, right? But it's not just that. It's also because a person, and I have experienced this as well. It's also because a person is afraid to look at themselves, right? When we look at other people and we try to fix them or change them or do this, that, and the other, it's also an indicator that we're afraid to look at ourselves and we're afraid to do the work on ourselves. Doing the work is not easy. It's kind of like sitting down to meditate. When I first started meditating years ago, it was very difficult for me. My mind was racing. I didn't really know what meditation was at the time. I didn't really know like what to expect. I still do it to this day, every day. I've done it every day since then, and I just think that it's very like it's interesting. Like when you compare it to that, like doing the work on yourself, actually looking at yourself, right? I believe it was Socrates that said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." I could not agree more. Seriously. Um, 20-year-old Chris, I know that I made decisions back then that really led me to this point. 25-year-old Chris, I made decisions at that point in my life that led me to this point. Um, and 25-year-old Chris is very proud of me. Um, I'm very proud of. I think that's the way that I meant to say it. I'm very proud of 25-year-old Chris. Um, but turning rescuer mode off is very difficult because essentially what happens is you are then just like it's like, what do I do? There's no chaos, there's no drama, there's no gossip, there's no challenge of um okay, I've been presented with this person. I'm taking it as my responsibility to rescue and fix and change and help this person. What do I do now? Right? It's actually overwhelming. There's a level of comfort in changing people. But the energetic vibration of trying to change people, of feeling like it's your responsibility to change people, is actually, I'll just say it this way, ew. It is, because what's happening is then you're not putting your energy on yourself. You're not doing what it is that you need to for yourself. I'll just say this for myself. I'm not putting the energy on myself and doing what it is that I need to for myself, and therefore postponing what's necessary for myself. And that's not attractive because other people are not my responsibility, right? How other people feel is not my responsibility to manage. Managing other people's emotions, codependency. It's not my responsibility. And so stepping away from that has actually been very difficult. I've really had to challenge myself to like actually like walk away and then, like create new beliefs in myself. Maybe not just beliefs, but once I suck myself back out of, or like step out of that, really just like sitting with, okay, well, what do I do now? Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to create? Right? That's what it comes down to. Um, Turning rescuer mode off is all about recognizing that, for me, it's all about recognizing that it's not my responsibility to rescue people, to fix people, to change people, to help people, right? And the other thing too, I have to ask myself, what am I doing and why am I doing it, right? Why? What am I doing? I'm doing this for this person. Why am I doing it, right? It's very easy to get sucked back into the rescuer role if I don't know what it is that I'm doing and why that is that I'm doing. So it's very, very fun to, very fun and insightful to document this part of the journey.